fuck have you been doing? Please take my words away from me and make me shut up.
You're gonna yell at me.
Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
This is sort of a re-review.
Uh-oh.
Control is a game developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by 505 Games.
Hold on a sec. What?
This is my turn now. It was released in 2019 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and then re-released on newer consoles 2 years later. It also had digital versions for the Switch and the Luna and the Stadia and the STD and the HIV and the whatever. But nobody cares about those. The story starts with our main character, Jessie, walking into a building.
Jessie!
Shh. Walking into a building because she has a psychic ability, maybe, that guided her there as she is looking for her brother. As Jessie is walking around looking for someone to talk to, she hears a bang and discovers that the director has unalived himself in his office. She grabs the gun, because touching evidence as an innocent bystander is a great idea, and suddenly there are red glowing monsters everywhere in the building trying to kill her. It's a very sudden start, and it could really use a bit of an intro to get the player into the story easier. This is my second time playing through, and I'm still like, blah, blah, blah. We start at 100 miles an hour. What is actually happening? Soon after, Jessie finds some friends that were already staff and makes friends with Emily, who's the head of research. Emily informs Jessie that the building she's in is called the Oldest House and that it's the home of the Federal Bureau of Control. The FBC investigates altered world events and objects of power from them. The red monsters that Jessie killed are FBC agents that have been possessed by something. Emily also tells Jessie that because of the gun she's holding and because the other guy is now unalived, Jessie is now the director of the Federal Bureau of Control.
Holy shit, when I walk into a job interview and my interviewer has killed himself and I have the job.
I thought you were going to say when you walk into a job interview holding a gun.
I would never.
After this long conversation that feels like an exposition dump, but also feels like it doesn't tell you, the player, enough info, Jessie has to run around the Oldest House and try to remove the possessing force making the agents bad by killing them dead. The Oldest House is cool because it's always changing and forming and seemingly never ends, despite from the outside it looks like a nondescript brick building. The evil possessing force that controls the FBC agents has also infected the Oldest House, so Jessie has to clean the glowing red spots up, by shooting them, of course, to allow the house to open up the way that it had been.
This is the way.
As Jessie is exploring the Oldest House and cleaning it all up, she finds printed files that haven't been stored. These files are really cool. They're made to look like an IRL Feds documentation about investigations or correspondence between Feds or explanations of objects of power with pictures. Jessie can also find videos of the head, probably mad scientist, Dr. Darling, geeking out about all the science he's doing. There's also audio clips to find that could be anything from announcements of overtime or another Fed recording his thoughts in audio form instead of writing it all down. Through these files, Jessie, and we the player, learn more about her childhood. We piece together that Jessie and her brother Dylan discovered a slide projector, which was an object of power. The FBC swooped in and took the slide projector, and also took Dylan, and I still don't understand why they took him. This is when Jessie got her psychic powers. She's kind of linked to Dylan through it, and it helps guide her through the story and where she wants to go. So she named this ability Polaris. Eventually, Jessie finds her brother, and she tries talking with him, but he's infected with the red monster syndrome. She eventually heals him of it, but then he goes into sleepy coma mode, and that's where that storyline ends. Kind of anticlimactic for the whole game. That's what she's looking for, and it's like, he coma. He gonna night. There's a really cool fake end-of-game credit scroll that comes after an epic boss fight against a satellite that sits still. I'm not quite sure the intent of the fake credit scroll, but it does help me appreciate that they could have ended the game there, but they didn't. There's some story wrap-up afterward. After the real credits roll, Jessie is in her office, and a message pops up saying that the campaign is done, but there's still a lot of game left. There are sections of the Oldest House that still haven't been explored, and lots of things to find in those sections. I also played the 2 DLCs, the Foundation and AWE. The Foundation is basically a doorway between the oldest house and the astral plane. This doorway is infected, and Jesse has to cleanse it. It was a fun side quest that added 2 or 3 hours of gameplay. It also introduced a fun mechanic of forming crystals found in this level into platforms to jump on, or thorns to pull up under enemies to damage them with. The most important part of this DLC was the end, when the board approves of Jesse being the director, and she says something exciting about leading the bureau her way. By the way, the board is an upside-down pyramid that talks to the director, whomever that is at the time, from the astral plane and instructs them on how to lead the bureau.
Don't worry about it.
This game is weird.
Oh, yeah.
The second DLC is all about Alan Wake. Wake.
Holy shit, that's my guy. It's him.
There's an elevator in the oldest house that Jesse uses to get to different floors, and to start this DLC, she has to use the elevator to go to the investigations floor. I thought it was a cool way to bake in a story DLC. This DLC does a lot of setup for Alan Wake 2, but presents it in Control's storytelling methods, a metric-ass ton of files to find and read and watch or listen to.
True.
It was bad with this DLC especially. It was just files everywhere. The opening room especially. Again, probably about 3 hours of additional gameplay. It is definitely worth playing these DLCs. Moving on to visuals. I always struggle with this section and the next section talking about sound design. What more can I say besides this is a recent game that's been re-released on current-gen consoles? It looks great, it runs smoothly. This started a lot of weird visual effects that Remedy also used in Alan Wake 2. One of these is a 3D video projection. It's a really weird effect that looks like a video being projected onto a wall, but Jesse can walk through it and see different layers of the video.
It's so fucking cool, man.
Another effect is enemies that can be invisible, leaving weird strains in the air as they zoom around while invisible. The same effect is used when enemies die. They explode and leave a red strain in the air for a minute. Sound design. After complaining about this section, I do actually have a thought. I haven't talked about the gun yet, but it has a bunch of different forms that it takes, and I like that each variety has its own quality sound effect. So in combat, I can know I need to change the gun's form just by the sound it's making. Yes, each gun form has its own reticle, but the audio is a way that I can know what form the gun is in, because fights get chaotic.
It's in hand cannon mode right now.
Another thing I haven't talked about yet is Jesse's abilities, but again, each of those have their own sound effect that sound really cool. They're fitting for what they do, even if it's a little goofy that they would make these sounds at all. But as they get more complicated later, it's helpful to know that my button prompt worked and that I'm going to throw 3 things instead of just 1. Polaris has its own sound effect. You can usually see a hint of where Polaris is guiding you, but more often than not I heard it before I saw it and would start looking around to see where it was guiding me to. Gameplay. I'll talk about the gun first. Like I said earlier, it takes different shapes. You, the player, can choose 2 shapes as your loadout. With the DLCs, there are 6 possible forms to choose from. A regular pistol, a shotgun, a machine gun style, high rate of fire, low accuracy, a sniper, a form called charge that I don't think I ever used, and then a form was added in the AWE expansion that fires sticky grenades that don't explode until you tell them to. I usually ran the basic pistol and a sniper. I'm really accurate with the pistol and would just need the sniper for the long range reach or against a really powerful enemy to try to pop a shield. The gun has unlimited ammo, but it refills after a little bit of time after firing. To switch gun forms, you have to press what is basically the reload button in any other shooter, which was definitely a habit that was really hard to break.
Yep.
Each form has 3 mod slots that can be filled with mods Jesse finds all over the oldest house, from treasure chests found everywhere or dropped from dead enemies. These mods are anything from increased damage or increased melee damage after gun kills, etc., etc. The mods also have a level to them, level 1 being the lowest, and I think level 6 being the highest. In the DLCs, I also found some mods that were specific drops from a boss. These mods were max level and also had like a gold sheen to them, indicating that they were special drops. Jessie has a bunch of abilities that she learns through the story. She can launch herself into the air and hover. She can ground pound from the air. She can pull objects through the air and then throw the objects. She can summon up a shield of stuff. She can dash, which damages enemies when paired with the shield ability. All these abilities get unlocked and leveled up in the skill tree found at rest points. Jessie also has 3 personal mods she can have equipped. Anything from increased health or force power, or more health gained from health pickups, etc. Again, these have levels applied to them. It was kind of a pain late in the game because I often ran out of mod storage space for my guns or personal mods. There are so many different types of mods. The DLCs added many more different types. I held on to the strongest forms of different types in case I encountered a boss that I would have to drastically change my build. I ended up not needing to. Mods can be broken down into an in-game currency. There are named bad guys that are tougher to beat, but there are also some really cool bosses. The satellite boss is not one of the cool ones. The named enemies are cool because they are agents that you've heard other agents talk about or seen their name in the files found in the building.
That's Bill.
And then you have to fight them because they've caught the infection. Some of the hardest trophies to get were board countermeasures and board alerts. Board alerts are timed side quests that pop up. Jessie has to go to a certain part of the building and kill a bunch of bad guys that have suddenly popped up there. I definitely ignored these as I was playing, so I hit the end of the game and had to grind to get 5 of these done to get the trophy. Board countermeasures are side challenges like kill 25 enemies with the Uzi. They have varying degrees of difficulty, and thankfully they can be dropped and randomly replaced. Again, I ignored them until the end and had to spend 2 sittings grinding them out. These countermeasures drop mods at different levels depending on the difficulty. In closing,
Wake.
according to the fandom, there's a file somewhere in Control that says the FBC bought the rights and makes and distributes Night Springs, the in-game knockoff of Twilight Zone seen often in Alan Wake 1 and 2. I thought that was cool. I didn't know that.
I can believe that.
Speaking of rights, we covered this back in March when it happened, but Remedy bought the rights to Control from 505 Games. This gives Remedy a lot more creative control over Control 2 and other games related to it, which is very good.
They have creative control over Control, yes.
I like this game a lot. I went back and played this again after playing through Alan Wake 2, and it added a lot of context to the Remedy universe. I feel like I understand a lot more of what's going on in both this and Alan Wake, which is funny because I still have a lot of questions. This game has a lot more action than Alan Wake, and it just has a different vibe. Alan Wake is a lot slower, more focused on being scary, and a lot more focused on telling its story. With Control, it's very easy to miss a lot of the story because it's buried in all of the files and videos and audio clips.
But you can also go pew 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 for a while.
Yeah.
Whereas in Alan Wake 2, it's more like and then fuck, I died. Yeah, and then you have to reload the fucking crossbow again. And go fuck, I missed again. Fuck, I'm out of ammo. Fuck, and then you run.
Yes.
This
is the 3rd game I've platinumed this year. It's strange. It's very strange how that's become a thing. Because I had only 1 platinum before this year, ever.
I'm rubbing off on you.
I don't get it. I'm very excited for the Control flavored DLC that's coming out for Alan Wake 2 sometime this month. And it was announced a week ago, and they were like coming out in October of 24. A week ago. There's no date. Everybody's like, why though?
Because it's in flux.
Is it? But why would you say it's coming out
in the month? Because it could be coming out on the 5th, or it could be coming out on the 30th. They don't know. That it's probably they're that's why you give yourself a release window, because they're probably still like, fuck, we gotta polish this more. We gotta call Sam Lake back into the office so he can do more silly dances.
But they have control of the whole thing. They're answering to themselves. Don't fuck yourself over with a time window like that.
Don't look at me. I don't make video games. I tried to make a video game back in 2014. Didn't fucking go well for me. We ain't do that shit no more.
I put 30 hours into this.
Solid.
Yeah.
Did you platinum both the DLCs yet?
No.
No.
That's not gonna happen.
Never.
I tried.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the list of trophies. I was like, nope, that's not gonna happen. Nuh-uh.
Control of control.
Yep.
Jessie's hair is big oof, though.
That was something that I meant to mention.
It's like the only graphics that didn't look good at launch, and they still don't look good now.
Her hair's okay, but her eyes look really weird. They had, like, lights shining out of them most of the time. It's like, yeesh. Even for a PS5 version, that still don't look good.
No, weird. She'd look better in Quantum Break, though.
I still gotta play that one.
You do, but you have to get it on Xbox or PC.
I have it on PC. I got it for like $5.
Now that's a good bargain.